Okay, next up we have one of our own SJPers who requested that I say that he makes really great Moroccan tea. So give it up for Abdurahman Lachgar, who's going to do 2 songs. Yeah, so give it up!
Louder!
I wrote these spoken words in my spare time. I've never actually recited in front of a crowd, so. These spoken were entitled, but okay, let me start. This is a message to the so-called leaders of the world. They say World War I and II are horrific. Tell that to the 100 million dead souls. Bullets, tanks, mustard gas, atomic bombs, sorrowful souls pointing accusingly at these so-called leaders. They say they regret the Great Depression. Tell that to the millions of people who lost everything because some people got too greedy playing with other people's money. Missing regulations, shady deals, all this corruption by these so-called leaders. They say they regret the Holocaust. Tell that to the 6 million dead people whose only crime that they were Jewish. And they died while the entire world was watching, twiddling their fingers. Nobody likes the Jews, so who cares what happens to them is what the so-called leaders say. They say the Vietnam War was misguided. Tell that to the 58,000 dead American soldiers and the millions of dead Vietnamese. Over what? A bunch of random jungles? They say they regret not realizing what the Khmer Rouge regime was doing. Tell that to the 2 million Cambodians who died due to starvation and genocide. They're Cambodians and they have nothing to offer us, these so-called leaders say. They say that the Rwandan genocide was immoral. Tell that to a million dead, the traumatized children soldiers, the countless women raped. So-called leaders, puppet players, we need this conflict, we want those diamonds. They say the Palestinian occupation is wrong. Tell that to the people kicked out of their homes, grandfathers, grandmothers, brothers and sisters that would never again see their homes, their belongings, and suffering humiliation and occupation, murder and genocide for 65 years. But who cares? US Congress practically bows down to the Israeli leader. Is it really surprising that nobody does anything? They say that they want to help the resistance in Syria. Where is this help? Will talking relieve the deaths of 50,000 Syrians? Pointless UN vote, so-called veto power. World powers rejecting any vote that doesn't swing their way. Old men talking while young men are dying. United nations, more like united frustrations. All talk, no action. Dictators and leaders sitting in their executive chairs, too drunk off their own power to help anyone else, much less their own people. Why must all these people die? What was their crime? Was it to satisfy some random dictator's power trip? Is that small strip of extra land, or those couple extra years of power, worth all those millions of lives? Why must history keep repeating itself? Stalin, Hitler, Pol Pot, Saddam, Gaddafi, Bashar, Mubarak, all the same. The same story, all played by different actors on a different stage. The plot is the same. This is to the so-called leaders of the world. Oh, but we had only seen this sooner. What was blinding you to the obvious truth? Were you too enamored by your own security, power, your ease of life? Or is it because you only help when it coincides with your interests? But please, go ahead with your corrupt ways, stealing billions from the people, Rolls-Royce, private jets, 50-acre mansions. Let me tell you this, none of that will protect you from the wrath of the people you have wronged. The people will always rise up. The people will always shake off the oppression that you have put on them. And after all that, after all your corruption and thievery and supposed power and your supposed invulnerability, you will end up with nothing. Not your billions, not your jets, not your gold, and you will be judged according to the evil you wrought. Let me tell you a story. The story of a people, an amazing, remarkable people. A people who had everything stolen from them, yet they persevered. The people of Palestine. A story of oppression. A story of people kicked out of their homes. Men and children, grandmothers, women carrying unborn babies that will never again see their homes, their land, their soil. 1948, the Nakba, a catastrophe of catastrophes. Entire villages massacred. Imagine getting dragged out of your home in the middle of the night. One you've been living in for generations. Forced to run far away to unfamiliar lands, with nothing but your soul and the clothes on your back. 65 years of humiliation, occupation, genocide, apartheid, separation walls, checkpoints, segregated roads, settlements reserved for only one race. Sound familiar? If this isn't racism, if this isn't oppression, if this isn't against morals and international law, then I am not a man. Let's go back a little in time. World War II, Nazi concentration camps, people being killed by the millions in the name of racial purity. How quickly the oppressed turns into the oppressor. Why does history always repeat itself? Why are people so quick to forget? 17-year-old kid, dreaming of professional sports, a remarkable young man, playing an innocent game of soccer with his friends, life snuffed out by a precious bullet, Dreams splattered all over the concrete. Why did he have to die? What was his sin? What was his mistake? Newborn baby child. Father is happy and proud as can be. Innocence destroyed by an oppressor's bomb. Entire family tree cut down. Sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, their light extinguished. Father carrying his child in grief, carrying a pain that none of us can imagine. Countless similar scenes, not one, not two, but thousands. The one-sided conflict reduced to facts and figures. Oh, 20 people died at breakfast, 30 people died at lunch, 40 people at dinner. Nobody cares anymore. We have been desensitized, hearts blackened by the constant bombardment of the media. Numbers? Nobody cares about numbers. Pain and suffering reduced to numbers, symbols, mocking the sorrow and pain that these families face every single day. Israel, they call themselves a democracy, the only democracy in the Middle East. You know who, false equality, with sinister undertones. You know who else had democracy? America had democracy, along with slavery, racism, segregation, and Jim Crow. Woo! South Africa had democracy, and look at the atrocities that happened there. You can't have democracy if you're practicing apartheid. It just doesn't work that way. Israel, supported blindly by the most powerful country in the world, a country built on freedom and liberty, a country built on the genocide of one race and the enslavement of another. So is it really that surprising that they support another oppressor? Intifada, uprising. They say heroes fight like Palestinians. Fearless children throwing rocks at tanks, a lasting image. I don't know about you, but I always take the kids over the tanks. You want to know why? Because the human spirit is unbreakable. Neither tanks nor bombs nor drones can defeat it. The people will rise up. The people will know the truth. The people will strive towards freedom. Together we can do great things. Together we can achieve anything. Oppression is unsustainable. Oppression always fails. Just take a quick look at history. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.